What's going on, my beautiful people? Just sharing this link with people, getting everyone up to speed. Well, how's it going, people in my live today? How was life? Hope everyone's getting all their Christmas shopping done and everyone's in good spirit and in good health. Appreciate you guys for always being here. If you're in here, give me a thumbs up. Let me know who you are. Let me know where you're coming from. And put all questions in the chat. I'll put my website up there if you guys have any questions and you need responses. I know the holiday season is tough. I know a lot of traumatic breakups tend to bring out more emotions around this time. So if you guys have any questions, if you need to book a session, website's right there. Michael from Denmark. What time is it over in Denmark right now? I would say it's probably late afternoon. Michael Ray Christensen. You have any questions? Let me know. This is just going to be kind of a free for all. Let you guys come in and speak what's on your mind, speak what's on your heart. Let me know how you guys are handling a breakup, whether it's someone who has an insecure attachment, you're trying to navigate that relationship and understand where to go next, or if you're trying to get some type of discernment whether or not your ex is in a rebound. I'm here for that too. Philippines, Denmark, people all over the world as usual. How do you guys celebrate? Do you guys celebrate Christmas over there? This might be a crazy question or just a silly question, but I'm curious to know if you guys celebrate over there because we're ticking down here. 6 days left. And I still have to get some of my holiday shopping done, but it tends to be not one of the most joyous days of the year for people that come from traumatic upbringing. But I digress. Get the likes up. If you like the feed, you allow new people to come in here, or it tells YouTube I'm live, pushes out the feed for more people. If you have like questions that you didn't know you had, someone may bring that question up in the live today, which means it helps you out, which means it's free coaching and you can put your mind at ease about whatever the topic or whatever it is that you had on your mind. If you guys can hear me in Cali, baby, that's what I'm talking about. You know how many people I coach in California? I really feel I should be a California native and just put on seminars out there because I work with a lot of people out there. Let me make sure that this sent out there for you guys on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, so I am Coach Cord. I'm gonna give you guys a disclaimer here, though. A little bit of a disclaimer. Instagram, it's a different platform. It's not the same as YouTube. YouTube, I like to stick to the attachment-based coaching, and also if someone's struggling with moving on from someone, the rebound content. But on Instagram, look, it's different. I can be all over the place with some of the coaching angles that I come from, that I come with on there, the coaching information. So you may not even like to follow me on Instagram, but here, I know what you're here for, and it's definitely like that on YouTube. You're not allowed to go into different areas of the coaching. All right, so put in the one in the chat if you wish that I was able to go to different areas of your relationship, because there's the breakup, there's the reconciliation, there's the pickup stage, there's the dating and relationship stage, there is the strengthening, the attachment styles, the different stages of the relationship. It's a bunch of different ways I can take my coaching, and I like to think that I'm well versed that way. But on YouTube, those videos don't tend to get a lot of traction, which is fine. I mean, I even have affirmation videos here on YouTube that a lot of people don't know about. I mean, that's over the past 3 months or so, those videos have started to gain some traction because I guess there's not a lot of affirmation videos out there. But that's using my home base here, my home topics or what I stick to here is relationships. And someone just sent me an email. Hopefully, this is one that'll be good for you guys. I think. No, I just got a booking. Sorry. My bad. All right. So tell me what's on your mind, people. If you guys are in here, first off, like the feed. It's enough people in here to get this thing rolling. Let me know. Actually, I have a question for you. What is the worst breakup advice that you've heard? And if it was from my channel, sorry, but I would like to know what it is and how I can help you guys move forward and even help me as a coach. So let me know, what was the worst breakup advice you've ever heard? All right, Raul. Raul from the Philippines. My girlfriend blocked me from her social media accounts because of my unfounded jealousy. She is a DA and is 24 years my junior. Any recommendations to get me back in the game? Okay, so tell me what was your jealousy looking like? Were you accusing her of doing things that she wasn't doing? Were you going through her phone? Were you popping up in her house when it wasn't appropriate for you to do so? Let me know what your jealousy looked like. Because if it was one where she feels like she's unsafe, then you may not have another end to this. If she felt like she had to physically remove herself, accusing her of flirting on Facebook. And so this is something that a lot of anxious attachers deal with. I mean, I'm assuming that you're an anxious attacher. You have to understand your triggers. If seeing her interact with other guys on social media is a trigger for you, you want to stop it from happening. Don't follow her. I've even had to do this. I've even advised people that I've coached to do this. Maybe being friends with them on Facebook isn't a good idea. Maybe having them on Snapchat isn't a good idea. When you see that Snap score to go up, I mean, by the way, you know, people that age right now are all into Snapchat and social media. So it's kind of how it's like the main way that they communicate with their peers. Maybe it's not a good idea to have them. So I guess I would need to know a little bit more context of this relationship, how it started, where you met, the dynamics of the relationship. It says she's younger. Why you choose to date someone that's younger? What's your motivation behind that? She never told me she is DA. She is in denial. Yeah, well, if she's 24, I'm not quite sure. Okay, so 24, my junior. So my apologies, I read that wrong. I guess I would like to know the age of each of you guys. What stage of life she's in, what stage of life you're in. All of this makes a difference. And if you're in a stage of life where you feel like you can't find anyone else, that can be the motivation behind your jealousy too, where you feel like, all right, this is my last hurrah. This is my last chance of being able to have this fountain of youth, I guess, injected in you. 61 divorced, she is 37 widow. Okay, so yeah, she's at a different stage of life. You guys both are. And was there some type of merit behind or story behind your jealousy and her flirting with people on Facebook? Trying to get my thoughts together here, people. My apologies. Is there some type of story behind it? Is there any reasoning as to why it led to this? Are your concerns unwarranted? Like you said, it's an unfounded jealousy. But have you seen her say some things on there that made you feel uncomfortable? And usually what happens is if you come to your partner about something that makes you feel uncomfortable and they don't handle it right, they don't receive what you're saying and kind of help put your mind at ease, then of course the next time it happens, you're going to feel like, well, she's not going to listen anyway, but I can't hold this in anymore. So maybe that was part of the case too, where you felt like whenever someone is telling me about their relationship and there's a reoccurring theme that keeps popping up in that relationship, I guess issues, it usually lets me know it's because you haven't resolved that issue. It means that no one, it's kind of something that gets swept under the rug, but no one feels quite comfortable. Either you moving forward with feeling safe within that relationship, and they don't feel comfortable with oversharing or changing something in them that they don't feel is needed to change. So, I mean, that could be it. I could just be going down the wrong avenue here, but likely not. Should we wait for an avoidant to reach out during no contact? It's a big question. The question I have is how avoidant? And if you know this, if you know that this person is avoidant, A, what makes you think they're an avoidant? B, what was their patterns like in the history of their relationship life? And how patient are you with waiting? Are you comfortable waiting? Do you feel like this person is worth waiting for? Because if you do, then 2 months. That's a generic kind of general rule there. 2 months, 2.5 months. And that's when they start to get through those stages of their breakup, where they start to think about you again. All the whatever their creature comforts aren't helping anymore. They're forced to feel. And that's when if you reach out, you may get good results. This isn't for sure though. This isn't guaranteed. But for the most part, they start to feel again. The numbing stops. Following up on jealousy. Where's the line between being too controlling and being disrespected by your girlfriend? How do we differentiate between insecurity and actual? This is a great question. Where is the line between being too controlling and being disrespected by your girlfriend? I think the line is set in the very beginning of the relationship where you let them know what are things that are deal breakers for you, what are things that are uncomfortable for you. And if they tell you what they are going to do, because they usually will tell you how they operate in that relationship, how they're going to operate, how they operated in the last relationships, that's when you have to make that decision of whether or not this is the right relationship for you. So what usually happens is you start to let things slide early on. You kind of set the dance for the relationship, and then later on, when you feel, because usually you don't people don't start complaining about things until their needs stop being met. Because they can be whoever they are and do whatever they want to do, but as long as your needs are being met, and this is just how I see it. As long as your needs are being met in that relationship, you're fine. But as soon as you start not feeling as fulfilled or you're not getting your needs met, that's when you start to what's the saying, the squeaky wheel starts to get the oil. You start lubing the wheel up a little bit more. No pun intended. So yeah, and that's when you already set that dance by then. And have you been blinded enough, or have you, the rose-colored glasses comes off, and then you start thinking, all right, yeah, I don't like that about that person. I do feel like that's disrespectful. And for the most part, they'll say, this is how I was when I first started. I've always had guys that were friends with me on Instagram and Facebook. This certain person has always commented on all of my posts. And by then you're thinking, well, now things are in your mind, you're thinking things have changed now because now you're in a relationship. And now the things that you did and the way you operated while you were single, it's not the same anymore now that you're in a relationship with me. How do we differentiate between insecurity and actual disrespectful acts? So I would say the insecurity would be the fact that you don't feel comfortable in that relationship anymore because your needs aren't being met the same way that they were when you were in the beginning. And the disrespectful part would be if you've brought this whatever it is up, this grievance, if you will, to the person, and they don't change, and they don't even acknowledge change. They don't even meet your demands. Like, all right, come to the middle and go to the negotiation table with you. Then I would say that's disrespectful. And I think a lot of respectful and disrespectful acts are different for everyone. You can have someone who girlfriend is out there from the beginning and you're okay with it. You may have been like, oh man, this is actually, I think it's attractive for other people to find my woman attractive, right? And later on down the line, you're like, wait a minute, this isn't. I had a prize, but now I see it as more like a liability because now I'm feeling a certain type of way about all the attention that this person is getting. You guys can hear me, right? Hopefully so. I coached my ex monkey branch to a new guy. Before that happened, for years, she brought up my issues and I was simply dismissive. Is it okay to want to get her back if she monkey branched if you're at fault? So if I had to think about the person or the people who struggle the most in breakups, I would have to say men. Put a one in the chat if you think that's true. If you think I'm accurate there, give me feedback here. Men are the ones that have the hardest time letting go. And especially if they feel like it was their fault. If they feel like they never got the opportunity to change and to show up better. I've seen a lot of cases where guys would say, you know, she told me that I became the person that she always wanted, but it was too late by then. Where you make all the changes after, like you actually get the job, you you lose the weight, you quit the substance abuse, but by that time it's already too late. And the guys that know that there's no one else in the picture, they tend to be a little more diligent about that. But if they know someone else is in the picture, they'll just start hating the guy. And maybe they do make the changes, right? Maybe they do still make the change thinking that they'll come back. But I can tell you that it'll be extremely difficult to get that person back or to, I guess, woo them back into your team if they already have someone else. I think it is an ego blow too. Of like, what's a lot of times when I'm talking to guys, they're like, well, this guy doesn't have anything on me. This guy doesn't make as much money. He doesn't do this, X, Y, Z. And I have to tell them, I have to set them straight. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter who the person is, um, how they're showing up, because for the most part, when women break up with you, they're vulnerable. And the people that they monkey branch to. Now, this is a big difference. I was actually going to make a video about this. The difference between rebound relationships and monkey branching. Monkey branching feels worse. It actually is worse. It's a form of codependency. If you ask me, I don't care what people say. They can say, sometimes this is what people need to do in order to get over someone else, especially if they had a serious committed relationship. I don't really care. It's still not healthy because it takes time to get over someone. It takes time to get rid of all that residual baggage that's going to come along in that relationship. And when you finally do, you don't have that breakup in a healthy manner, you'll be grieving maybe 2, 3, 4 different relationships, which really would dysregulate you. So the difference between monkey branching, I feel is it's way more unhealthier than a rebound, because a rebound, at least you were moral enough to cut that relationship off. It's still not healthy. It's morally sound though, where you can say, all right, I closed that door and I moved to the next one. Will it work out? I don't know. But I do see people who have the monkey branching tendencies to try to make those relationships work so much harder than the one before. Like I just went down a bunch of comments on my page talking about how the guy is, getting married to the new woman, and how the woman's having a kid with the new guy, and they're sticking in those relationships. And then they have like this internal knowledge or this inside knowledge from other people saying, oh, she's not even happy in that relationship. So it keeps you hanging on a little bit longer, have a little bit more faith, a little bit more perseverance that they'll break up. And you'll get that text saying, hey, I want to make things work again. But if I had to talk about how often that happens, probably 5 to 10%. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it. My ex seems like she's flying off the rails. She's an emotional, immature DA rebounded. So you have to think about if there's also some pathology there. Maybe it's not just about her being an avoidant. Maybe something else is going on. You start to see him. I mean, talk about stage of life again. I mean, is she going through some type of existential crisis? This is one thing that the Barbie movie talked about. It's like there could be a crisis going on here that she doesn't even realize is happening. The last 5 months of my life was a lie because of the monkey branch, and all the trips and memories all tainted. I just wrote a quote on my Instagram. If you're not following me, as I am Coach Court, about this. When a person tries to move the relationship faster than you're comfortable with, you should see that as a red flag, because healthy relationships move at a healthy pace. The ones that come together too quickly, they tend to burn out. And I've seen people have, like I said, I could be wrong, but I've seen people on my Instagram talk about how maybe for one every 10 comments, maybe 20 comments, you'll get one person saying it worked out for me. I monkey branched and I got into another relationship right away, and this is the best spouse I ever had. Okay, come talk to me in 10 years. Come talk to me in 20 years. Let me know how that worked out for you. Because if you're still in the throes of the honeymoon stage, and if you're still having this emotional high by this person, then I can't really take what you're saying seriously. Like, let me know when things started to fall apart, and if you were able to persevere through that. Because otherwise, it's just it's an emotional, like you said before, emotional wreck. Like you're caught up in those feel good hormones. I've been working on myself nonstop. I have been in no contact for 2 months. I just don't know if I should reach out or just hang tight and let her new guy dissolve, or should I move on? I've seen other coaches talk about this, talk about how to reattract a woman that's with your ex if they're with someone else. And I just think it's unhealthy. I think you should really close that door for now. Stop thinking about it as best as you can. If you need to start dating yourself, maybe give it a little bit more time, but I think you should get back out there too, because your last relation, the way that it ended too, and I know a lot of those the way the way they end, it's really helpful as far as how you're going to heal, right? So if it was, for example, if it ended where they were saying, you never showed me any attention, you did this, you did that, it makes you really resentful, or remorseful, right? That's the word. It makes you really remorseful about how you showed up in that relationship. So then you're like, all right, baby, coach took me out the game, said I needed to work on this, I need to work on that. Now I'm ready for my next chance. But what if you just needed to go to a whole new team? Maybe there's so much water under the bridge there that there's no reconciling. If a person is continuing to reach out, they're probably just dangling the carrot and having you hang on. But your best bet is to just say, hey, if they reach out to you and they have another person, hey, talk to me when you're no longer with so and so. I mean, and then I know y'all going to go in the comment section and say, don't ever reach out. We don't bring trash back in. All of those things they like, people like to say. But I've also seen scenarios where those relationships did work out, where the person said, I made a big mistake. I was going through this, I was going through that. And if they're able to take accountability for how they showed up, and pinpoint why they did what they did in a healthy manner, then you may give it another chance. I think that's the healthiest way. You should give it another chance. But if it's just because they're lonely and they know that you'll answer, they know that you'll take them back, that's never a great motivation for reconciling. Is it smart to start a relationship with a DA? I mean, how would you know that they're dismissive? For me, I think there are certain things that I would need to see in place for them to become more secure before I even before I even consider stop dating other people. Because at the same time, you should be dating two people. All right. I said it. You should be dating 2, 3 people to see who's going to work out best for you. Like, it's just like putting out a job application where You're not going to just apply for one job and say, I'm just going to sit on my hands and wait for them to reach back out to me. No, it's probably not going to work out that way. And after like a month or so, you start to feel like, all right, I like this person. Or after a month, you see that this person is an avoidant. You can say, I'm sure glad this other person is showing up better than them because this person right here ain't it. But by the time people reach out to me, it's already too late. You've already been with this person for 6 months. You've already figured out that this person seems to be a little bit more on the avoidance side. You've done your Google search and you've gone down the rabbit hole, but it's too late. So, should you start a relationship? That ship is usually already sailed. Last week, I finally realized that she tried to get pregnant by him while monkey branching. She has so much deep hatred and anger towards me. That hatred and anger towards you, I wouldn't take so serious. Believe me on this one. Don't take that so serious. That's what she needs to feel in order for her to do what she's doing now, to sleep better at night. That's her motivation to continue to be with that person. I would say cut the communication. And you don't really, if she's spewing this venom, it's going to make you feel worse. It's going to keep you hanging on for longer. So don't even give her the opportunity to do it. Or why would a relationship with a DA work out? A relationship with a dismissive person will work out when they hit that point in their life where they realize a lot of the things that I'm doing isn't working. The way that I'm showing up is actually not, it's helping me with protecting myself, but it's not bringing our relationship stronger. It's closer together. You know what I mean? So I've seen them work out, but honestly, it takes a lot of work, and it also depends on how young the person is. Because as they get older, man, it's harder for them to start changing some of the ways that they've been operating. It's hard. Book recommendations on codependency and holding your frame in relationships. It depends on who you are. I usually only give those book references out to my clients though, because they pay for it. But if I had to talk about one book that I'm talking about a lot, it would be Wired for Love by Stan Tatkin and The Way of the Superior Man, if you're a man. Actually, I don't even think it should be man. And in the book, they talk about this. It should be The Way of the Superior Person, because it's not just about men. It's about getting what you want out of your life and your relationships in a healthy manner. Not protesting, not making a person feel guilty for the way that they're showing up, not shaming, not coming on my comment section and saying she for the streets. It's about radical accountability and about making the most logical, and I guess to a degree it can be emotionally charged because you fall in love with people through emotions, right? But at the same time, you have to be conscious enough to know that certain type of dynamics won't get you to be happily ever after. And I talk about this in my other video. Stop falling for the layover flights. You're looking for the flight that's going to take you from point A to your final destination, but people get hung up on these situationships that are taking them to temporary breakups and makeups to the next relationship, to another relationship. Stop entertaining those relationships. I'm laying it all out here on my channel, how to find a person that's going to take you to your happily ever after. But we ignore it. And why we ignore it, I'm not going to lie, it can be fun on those layover flights. A night in Dubai or a night in New York seems fun. But what happens when you get to those vacation spots? You get to those layover places. You're like, hey man, this is fun, but I can't live here. I'm actually ready to go home. But I guess that also depends where you're at in your breakup too. If you're someone that's just trying to get over a relationship, you'll grasp onto any and everything that looks safe or feels safe or gives you that dopamine and that oxytocin release. Right. So my ex just celebrated 6 months with a rebound. She left me for monkey branched. This is tough, man. She tries talking to me, and I tell her we shouldn't be talking. My ex also has yet to even post about the rebound once on her Instagram. Been with him for 6 months and still has no pictures for me. Pictures of on there. Yeah. And I know what you're thinking, Kingfish. You're like, this isn't real. And this isn't real. She's not posting this dude because she's embarrassed about him or she's embarrassed about the relationship. But try not to get so hung up on those stories because that's what's going to keep you hooked. What if it does? I mean, it's one thing that I do agree with people that are coming on, using my Instagram and making these, I don't know, I call it diarrhea of the mouth. They just come on and just diarrhea all over my page. I'm like, okay, clearly you're hurt, but I do understand that we are trying to get the same type of outcome. One, protect the other person from hurt and more pain, and two, to help them move on. But the way that I go about it is a lot different than the way that they go about it. They'll come on and say, never block them again. It's not a good idea. And they're speaking from just their experience. Or maybe a couple friends of theirs. But I've seen a lot of these stories, so I can actually give statistical um, backings on some of the things that happen. Do you find accountability letters to be good or just stick to no contact? I feel like after 2 months, maybe she is hoping for me to say something, but I don't know. We broke up without much fighting. No closure. Here's how I feel about accountability letters. I always go against them because the amount of energy and the amount of feeling and amount of care that you'll put in crafting up those letters, they don't receive the same way. Especially if they're in a relationship with someone else, they're knee deep in that. They're not seeing anything in the peripherals, and you're her peripheral right now, if not the back. I there's some intention behind that letter. There's some hidden agenda, I would say. And usually, if it's not received that way, you just become more vengeful and hurt, or even depressed because they don't receive it the same way that you wrote the letter in. I have seen where people say, "This was really sweet of you. Thanks a lot. Um, I'm glad you've come to that realization." Because usually inside those letters, it's always like a little bit of self-deprecation going on there, like I should have done this, I should have did that. But usually, it's too late. And I would say more times than not, if it's trying to get back with a woman, once that love dies, it's usually too late. My ex also has yet to even post. All right, so I already seen that. Anxious ex girlfriend jumped into a rebound relationship 2 weeks after, and it's moving very fast. It's Christmas time. Of course, it's moving fast. My DA calls breakup and been working on myself and tried reaching out, but she was still angry. Any thoughts? Yeah, that anger usually passes for the avoidant. Are you sure she's not fearful? Sure she's not FA? I could be wrong, but a lot of times when I see that anger early on, it's more of a fearful thing to do. Especially if they broke up with you and then they're angry about it, which doesn't make sense because you're like, you broke up with me, but you're angry with me. So my FA is in another relationship. I know it's not healthy to not wait for them to break up, and I'm currently in no contact. I'm trying to be the best version of myself. Gym, therapy, life. You got it, brother. Keep at it. Or woman, you got it. Keep at it. Stay the course. I lost a ton of weight, but I don't think sending her shirtless pics of me will get her back. Thoughts on what I should do if they break up. Um, I guess if she's hiding the relationship, let's say that you guys have common friends and family members or whatever, um, then she probably doesn't want you to find out about it. I don't know if you found out about it or not, or if she told you about it. Well, of course you found out about it. If she told you about it, if she knows that her friends or someone told you about it, if she's hiding it from social media, because I would say when they're over you, they will start blasting that stuff online. They will start putting it in their stories and on her wall. So so there's a couple questions. Maybe you need to reach out, book a it could be a 30-minute call and we can go over, the exact context you're talking about here, details. What can you expect to happen or what is typical DA behavior when they start to work towards? Can you reframe that one for me? She told me about it because she definitely knew I was still interested. How long did she tell you about? How long was that relationship going on? Like I said, there's details here I need to know, like length of the relationship, the dynamics of the relationship, how long you were broken up before she. Uh, I'm pretty sure that for the most part, a lot of them deny monkey branching. They'll say, "No, I broke up with you, and then this person showed up," or "I met him at so and so, so and so." But if you know your lady, you know that there was something off, and there was some type of pullback that was actually happening before the monkey branch even happened, or the official breakup. So, any more questions? So I suspect monkey branching. Absolutely. Like I said, if you're with someone long enough, how can you not know them? They become essentially your best friend. You know everything about them. You know their work schedule. You know when they're asleep. You know what they like to eat. You know their habits. You know their temperaments. You know the person that was always talking about working out for 2 years. All of a sudden, they start working out and listening to new music, and hanging with a new crowd. You're like, and talking about quitting their job, how unfulfilling their current job is. You'll start to pick up on those things, and you know the monkey branch is happening before it even happens. She got into the relationship 2 months after our breakup, but she mentally checked out 2 months before. It doesn't take very long. You could have been with her for 10 years, and all it takes is that 2 months of you missing something or a wedge being driven between you two for all of it to just end. What is typical DA behavior when you agree towards working on the relationship? I have a video about that. They'll start 5 signs and avoiding cares. They'll start apologizing for not calling you when they said that they were going to call you. They'll start um, trying to be more mindful about the things that they do and how they're showing up. The things that you used to complain about, they'll make an effort to do it. Um, One of their biggest love languages is gift giving and acts of service. They'll start doing that pretty often. They'll start saying, "Hey, I'm at the store. Is there something you want me to pick up?" And like I said, it all depends on the degree of their avoidance too, because they can be someone else that has like something hidden going on, some other type of issue happening, and not just attachment related. Then it makes it really hard for them to be able to um, think outside the box in a way. So I removed my ex from social media, and she constantly likes posts my mother posts with me in them on Facebook. I don't understand why she makes an effort to text me while she is with someone. Kingfish, if I have to be 100 with you, brother, validation. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm sure you get to talking to her, and then those conversations just run dead after a while. It's just validation. Try not to see it more than that. So my ex girl who left me 2 months ago, saw each other, and we were cool. and fine. She was talking to guys. I didn't get mad and went on to the party. I was talking to a female friend and she blocked me. Hmm. At a party, you were talking to someone and she blocked you because she got jealous. That would make me wonder. Um, do you not just want to see me with someone else? Did she think that you were intentionally trying to make her jealous? Isaac, don't play me here, man. Do you think that she was actually picking up on you trying to make her jealous? Yeah, I think so too. I am currently unsure of their relationship status. It's been going on for 3 months. My current plan is 45 or so days of no contact, and invite her to a casual dinner. If she says no, I move on. I mean, at that point, I actually can get behind that plan because at that point, you have nothing to lose. If you can extend the olive branch, but if they're in a relationship with someone else, it's going to be a no, or they may just string you along and make you think they're going to go out with you. But I would lean more towards no. But if you truly feel like that'll be closure for you, then I say do it. You don't have anything to lose. Relationships are so layered. I mean, the worst case scenario is already done, right? You've already lost them, right? Relationships are so layered and complicated, man. Phew, who you telling? How do people actually have grounded and harmonious relationship that meet both people's needs and growth paths? Listen to me clearly on this one. You have to vet your person accordingly. Ask the right questions early on and believe their relationship patterns. Believe their history. The history is always going to lead you to where you're going. Especially if they're not doing anything to actively heal and to change that. Because we go on autopilot. 95% of the way we operate is on autopilot. They're always going to go back to that comfort zone and what they're familiar with. But vet accordingly. Look at their family history. Look at their patterns. If all of their women in their family are divorced, that means they probably normalized divorce. Then I would say, all right, we need to come up with a concrete plan of how we're going to break these generational curses. Because for me, that's a generational curse. Broken families, not being able to stick it out when times get tough, that's a curse. So vet them accordingly. Believe what you see and what you hear. Our ego takes over and say, "Oh, I'm different. I can make them do this and that. I can change them. I can heal them." When it's egotistical. You can't change people. They are who they are. You can influence them in the best you can and show proper relationship etiquette or model it for them, but you're not going to change them. I think it's I think it's silly to even think that that's possible. I've had women come in my neck about this and say, "You don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, okay, well, how's your relationship going? Tell me, how is it going? Is it going great? Are you in your fifth breakup with this person? Then, then I might be right. Wasn't trying to make her jealous. Thanks for that. I went to the friend's room to sip a little bit. There were other people in the room too, so no intent to hook up. I was leaving her room and my ex saw me leave the room. Yeah, that's probably jealousy, probably wanted to get your attention and to want you to chase her. I have an issue with people who want you to chase them because that means that they really are more into that validation than actually building a genuine relationship with you, right? All right, I'm out of here, guys. It's good to talk to you. Let's do this again sometime. If you guys want to book a session with me, website is right on the screen. Um, I know it's tough around Christmas time, but I'm here to support you and here to help guide you in the right direction. If I feel, this is the thing too is I don't sugarcoat things on calls with my clients because I don't feel it's ethical. I don't feel it's ethical. I don't want to, hey, book another session, book a third. Nah, I'm not. I, Success for me is never having to talk to you again. And it's like, all right, they got it. That was a quick an easy turnaround. They just needed to tweak a little bit in either the way that they were showing up in their relationship, or they needed this conversation. So appreciate you guys. All right, so one more question. Day of my failed relationship anniversary. My ex is currently in a rebound, and I'm trying to move on myself. Well, she just texted me right now. What to do? What did she text you? Did she text you some type of memory? Did she text you a old picture from the past? And that's, for me, that's a bid for connection, but it's a selfish bid for connection because she's not allowing you to heal. She's not allowing for you to move on. And I don't think it's cool. If anything, I think it's very selfish, it's narcissistic, and it's not cool, right? Because now this is going to mess up your whole entire holiday just with that one text. Your whole entire holiday. So long, Christmas. Now I'm just going to be thinking about her being with this guy. It's not cool. So I'll get off my soapbox. I want you guys to always remember, right? When you go be loved, you'll never have to find it. Namaste.